Hey yo, what's cracking like in my community today? My name is Londyn. Welcome back to my channel. For your what's poppin'. So you see this how I see the thumbnail. Today we're gonna react to some more scary story animations. Okay, we got some psycho neighbors out here. So look, don't know about you. Let's get on.
I lived in the Crescent apartment alone for more than 10 years.
Okay.
I wasn't always alone, but no one had ever stayed as long as I did. I was always welcoming people and ushering them into the apartment.
Okay.
Whenever people moved in, I couldn't hide my excitement to see them and accommodate another neighbor. The good
Her
part
hair
was that
looks
they
crazy,
loved
like
to
some
see
damn
me too.
Ice Spice.
The day Irene moved in, I met the truck that brought her luggage outside the house as I was leaving for work. It was early on the third day in January.
Okay.
I wondered why a person would relocate that early in the year, but I also understood that people like to start the year like they were starting afresh. I rushed towards the truck in front of the house and asked the driver who owned the luggage with a bright smile. He looked taken aback and nodded towards a young, slim woman giving instructions to some men unloading the truck.
Oh.
That was after he mentioned that her name was Irene.
Okay.
I nodded my thanks and headed towards the back of the truck with my arms wide up to receive Irene. She stepped back and stared at me, confused. I moved closer and introduced myself as her neighbor.
Hold on. Why did you come up to somebody being like this? She's like, I would feel weirded out too. Like, why are you coming up to me like with your arms out? Like, that's some weird shit.
I stretched my hands again to envelop her in a welcoming hug, but she ran away and stood at the back of one of the men around, peeping at me from behind his shoulders. But I planted a huge smile on my face as I stared at each of them one by one. When I was done communicating my hurt with my smile and eyes, I waved at Irene and told her I'd see her later in the evening. As I walked away from them and started my journey to my place of work, I hoped that the fear in her eyes would have dissipated and she'd be ready to accept my greetings and welcome.
You know, she's only scared because of your haircut. That's what I'd be scared if your hair looked like that too. You just come up to me like this. Hi, I'm your neighbor.
I arrived home later than usual that evening, but I didn't mind. I hoped it only gave my new neighbor more time to settle. I thought about heading straight to her place, knocking on her door, and attempting the same hug she refused in the morning. But I decided against it.
Yeah.
As much as I felt it made a person feel important, I didn't think it was time for Irene to know what I thought about my neighbors and had their best interests at heart. I waltzed away from her door and headed straight to my apartment. To my surprise, my door was open.
What the hell?
How? I couldn't fathom. I was more than sure that I kept the door to my apartment locked. Alongside my long years in the Crescent, a lifelong habit I accrued dwelt in how I always locked my door immediately after I stepped out of my apartment. I hid the fear I felt with a huge grin on my face, turned the doorknob, and stepped into the house.
Okay.
It smelled like chicken soup and citrus.
Chicken soup.
It would have
and
been less
citrus.
absurd if I'd had so much as a relative left in the world, but I didn't. I never married, and I never gave birth to a child. I didn't have siblings because the ones my parents gave birth to died at a very young age.
Wow.
My parents gave up. I didn't have cousins, nieces, or nephews. The one distant relation I ever had died before I moved into the Crescent. Who could have found it easy into my apartment, cook dinner, clean up the environment, and make it seem like I was lost? Well, I didn't have to think long. When I closed the door behind me, Irene appeared in an apron from the kitchen and looked at me with the brightest of smiles.
Huh? Like, where'd you get the key from? Like, how did you get into my house, bitch? Like, look at her creepy ass. Nah, because if you came into my house like that, I'd sock you square in your jaw. Like,
I'm sorry for the other time. I was just scared to see that you do exist, she said.
Huh?
My legs were glued to the ground where I stood. I didn't take a step, although Irene made large strides toward me. How did you get in here? I managed to ask, and she shrugged it off with a laugh. I thought I heard her snort, too. She said it was no big deal. She only thought that cooking dinner for me was the best way to apologize for her rude behavior that morning.
So you didn't think to wait until the morning to knock on my door and wait till I was home to apologize? So you just decided, hey, let me just break into her house and cook dinner on her stove and waste her light bill and her electric bill. The fuck?
Didn't make sense in my head.
It doesn't make sense at all.
She put her arms in mine and dragged me towards the dining table like we'd been friends forever. My heartbeat never steadied through dinner, but because I didn't want to be rude,
don't eat that. Don't eat that.
She smiled through every spoonful. And it was at that moment I started to dislike her.
Ooh.
She treated me so well and believed like she didn't first reject me, as if I belonged to a trash can.
Yeah.
The dinner ended and I ushered her out of the house. I especially told her that I didn't like how she picked up my telephone call in the middle of dinner. She apologized and said she'll pick up calls after dinner next time.
What?
Not permitting me to explain that there wouldn't be a dinner or a next time.
Ooh.
I didn't like her.
Yeah, get out my house.
Pushed her out of the apartment,
Goodbye.
locked my door, and cleaned the dining and kitchen area myself before retiring to bed that night.
That is some weird shit.
Now, maybe I would have forgiven Irene, or forgotten my first encounter with her.
Yeah.
But how could I, when her presence woke me up from bed the next morning?
Huh? She broke into her house again. It's just like this when she wake up. Like, imagine you going to sleep. Imagine you sleeping. Like, what the fuck?
She spread open the windows and claimed that she wanted to help me get ready for work.
Excuse
I would
me?
have screamed, if not for the smile she had on her face. Such evil.
If this happened to a black person, they would not be in my house the second time. No. She's so weird. Like, she's in your face when you wake up. Excuse me? Why are you in my house? I don't know you like that, bitch.
She forced me out of the bed, led me to the bathroom, and told me to get ready while she prepared breakfast.
Excuse me? And you're listening to her. Like, she's like, go in the bathroom and get ready. Excuse me? How did you get in my house? Talk about it's not a big deal. You broke into my fucking house, bitch.
Of course, I can't like someone who comes in through locked doors.
Yeah.
I can't find myself liking someone who consistently cooks me breakfast and dinner. I can't like someone who opens my curtains early in the morning.
No, early as fuck in the morning too. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? I would have socked her square in her jaw the first time she broke into my house. Bitch, I'm grabbing my taser and beating your ass with it. Like, I'm tasing your shit. Like, the fuck is wrong with you?
Makes sense, but I'd been held hostage. That's what I thought.
You-
Help! I have an absolute psycho of a neighbor.
You can kick her out.
Messages from my psychiatrist that Irene was a nurse and a well-wisher who was sent to take care of me could not convince me. I mean, I'm totally fine now, but all these people are hell-bent on proving otherwise. I wonder if I should do the same thing to Irene. You know,
Ooh.
the one I did to Charles 10 years ago.
What?
So painful.
Huh? Who's
Would be
Charles?
the perfect way to start the first month of 2023.
What? Huh? What? You can't end the story like that. Who's Charles? See, they both weird. That's why she didn't kick her out, because they're both weird. That's that white people shit.
My eyes were sore and itchy by the time the clock crawled into the early hours of the day. It had finally done it. I couldn't believe the turn that all of our lives would take when we finally put out our secret product. The feeling was dizzying.
Ugh, look at his
It was like
eyes.
breath leaving the body for the final time with all of its burden. The culmination of 3 years of hard work and countless sleepless nights had finally arrived. I exhaled proudly and reclined in my seat as I peered into the computer to read through the last few lines of my code. All good. So good that my feet escaped the floor and swung in the air briefly in excitement. I couldn't wait to share the news. Jeff, I called as I rolled around in my seat.
It's always Jeff that's a creep.
Alone.
It's always Jeff.
Damien.
Damien.
The silence echoed my report back to me faintly.
Such random
I
names.
rubbed my hands together, the sweat making their movement feel slippery. The code was good. We had all done well, and we would all be rich in no time.
Uh-huh.
My eyes wandered to the clock as I thought about sleep. 3:33 a.m.
That's
I
a
blew air
sign.
through the roof of my mouth as I began to picture the life of luxury and relief I would get when we finally got rich from our product. I perceived the belly-numbing sensation of something being awry.
Huh?
The relief, which had made me lighter moments ago, descended on my shoulders forcefully. I sensed I was being watched.
Oh.
And I spun around in my seat quickly. The lights in the corridor that led a small way into the lobby were all off, and the lobby was in pitch blackness. It was unusual. The lights never went off. Why had they
Okay.
gone off, and how had I not noticed?
Huh?
I paused and thought as I observed the situation, and suddenly started to sink in panic. The world
What?
outside of the glass that bordered my office in the lobby was covered in an intimidating darkness, which altered my disposition.
Well, duh, because you're there at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning. Like, think about it. You're the only employee there at 3:33 in the morning. Put two and two together. Come on, be smart.
Damien,
He's
slowly
calling
picking
people
myself
out
up
like,
from the chair,
no.
my
White
heart began
people.
to thump in a crazed frenzy, anticipating tragedy to come out of the darkness at any moment to consume me. My sweaty hands became even sweatier, and I scrubbed them against my pants for calm. Childhood trepidations, which I thought I had defeated, stared me in the face, out of the void, and mocked my unease.
Who wrote this?
I was overcome with a strong urge to take to my heels and run out of the building. Still, I held out for my friends.
Why? Fuck your friends. Like, if your friends will play a game like this and scare you, they're not your friends.
Come out now. I'm finally done with the code. Paused in my tracks.
I do not have a good feeling about this.
It was a stupid thing to approach the door empty-handed when I feared such an unfortunate circumstance behind it, even though it was unproven. I bit my lower lip, which had become numb from fear. And the pinch of my teeth coming down with such force gave me a good rush. The night shift had suddenly lost its appeal of quietness to me, and it was now a danger.
Like, nah, the night shift should always indicate danger. I'll do the night shift because I'll get peace and quiet. No, the night shift is full of monsters and crazy people. And that's why I think white people got too much privilege, because they associate the nighttime with it being quiet. I associate nighttime with it being dangerous.
I went back to my table and searched around for an object I could reasonably defend myself with in any case. I went through my options in trepidation. Big objects did not have any appeal for me, and small objects could only do so much to defend me. I eagerly opened the drawer, searching for any tool I could find. My relief was
find a weapon or
a
something.
Small screwdriver, no more than 5 inches in length.
Alright.
I carried it in my hands.
Alright, yeah, that's something. Shoot, a screwdriver can really hurt somebody.
I fumbled the screwdriver and almost dropped it to the floor. Damien.
Outside
into the light of my office, startling me. I caught the screwdriver clumsily and shoved it into my pocket. Hey man, what's the progress? He asked, running the back of his hand across his forehead. Fuck! You startled me, I complained as I watched him.
Damien looked like a fucking crusty ass bitch. Like, why he look? Look at Damien! Let me zoom in. This look like Archie Andrews, bitch.
My bad, he smiled, slapping his hair back into place.
He said, my bad.
I asked, slightly relieved. Jeff, he queried me. I thought he was here the entire time. No, he wasn't. I scowled.
Why is it so
I
quiet?
turned around to face my computer to conceal the concerned expression on my face. We were on the verge of changing the world and our lives. They had both delayed the thrill for too long, and I could not afford to think up whatever game they were playing. Tell me you'd done it, man. This code would be our fortune. Damien snickered as he crept up from behind me.
He looks so creepy.
Looks like I do have it done. I was just going to tell you and Jeff. I can't tell why the lights in the lobby went out. Any idea what happened to it? I quizzed when I sensed he was close enough. Let me see the code. Damien said nothing. And it was only then that I began to reconcile my suspicions with an urgent need to escape.
Oh my god, look at his creepy ass behind him. That's so nasty.
I received the strong whiff of alcohol.
Oh, this man been drinking.
When I deceptively moved the screen away from the code which I had written. His satisfaction wrestled with his anticipation. As I worked, his breath climbed a heaving pitch until he could no more control it.
My goodness.
Fuck it! He hollered, and with a blitzing flash, I saw something whip over my head. I reached out to stop it before I realized
god!
What it was.
What the fuck?
To strangle me.
Huh?
I'll have it all alone from here, thank you. Easy case for you and Jeff. Air poisoning. I get to keep all the fortune. My luck.
What?
My entire body was cold, and I was white in horror as Damien snatched life from my lungs.
Damien. I knew Damien was a fucking asshole. Okay, look, listen. Any dude named Damien, watch out for them, okay? I knew a Damien back in elementary school. He used to steal my crayons and shit and, like, break them and put them back. Any Damien in the entire planet is a menace to society. Like, I'm so dead serious. You know a nigga named Damien? Run the other motherfucker away, bitch.
My life flashed before my eyes, and in a moment of mad desperation, I remembered the screwdriver in my pocket, and I withdrew it. I struck
get that
behind me
shit
with
and
all
buy
the
his
might
ass.
of
Come
life
on.
and death in
Don't
me.
drop it.
The
Don't drop
screwdriver
it.
plunged into
Ooh.
and the rope around my neck immediately slackened. Damien tumbled to the floor behind me, dead.
Dead? Huh? Bruh. This man, oh my god. I don't know what to say. Nah, bro. If your name is Damien, back the fuck away from me. Move. Back up. Damien, back up.
It happened when I was in middle school, 7 years ago. I lived in a small village, and there was a man in my neighborhood. He lived in a small house next door and always walked around barefoot. So I used to call him Mr. Barefoot. Whenever I came across him on the street, he used to ask me to come over to his place. But my mother always told me to be careful of him because she had heard some screams of women from his house several times.
Always listen to your mama, especially if it's about some crazy, creepy dude like that she heard about. No, if your mama heard about it, then it's definitely true.
Maybe she might have heard incorrectly, but
No.
she was still wary of him, as she thought there was something fishy about him. However, I believed he was a good man.
Look at the toes. That's so nasty.
So tired of school. Then he said, smiling broadly, "Oh yeah, you want to stop being annoyed by such crap and be free, right? I know how to set you free. Come over to my place and I'll show you."
Kids cannot be this stupid. If a creepy man's like,
"Come over to my house,"
you can't tell me that you didn't know that he was a creep.
I sensed something horrible about him.
Yeah.
I mean, from his hand and his eyes, I felt like if I did hold his hand, he would just haul me into his place. I turned him down.
Yeah,
saying
thank
my
you.
mom
Thank
wouldn't
you.
allow it. His mouth was still smiling, but his eyes were not. He was actually frowning, and his hands were trembling. I hurried to school. When night fell, I wasn't able to sleep because of the irresistible lure of curiosity. So I went to his house on the quiet.
Are you serious?
Into his place
Are
through
you-
the window. In the house, he was eating bread with a glass of wine at a dining table covered with food. There were also women lying around on the couch and bed. It looked pretty weird, so I went home, and I didn't take it too seriously.
Notice the color of the kid. Black people don't do shit like this. Like, why would you go over to the creepy man house after your mama told you he's creepy, look through his window, and then get scared about what you saw? Oh my god, my mama told me he was creepy, but I'm still look at him anyway, and then get surprised when I see that he's a fucking killer. Duh. People like this don't do shit like this. We don't do that. We don't do that.
After that
We
day, he would continue to shout at me whenever we happened to meet on the street.
Set you free!
One day, it was very noisy outside. I went out to see what was going on. Police officers. They were located at Mr. Barefoot's house.
Thank you.
I heard a shocking thing. That 3 dead women were found inside. Each of them was lying on the couch, the bed, and the bathtub. What's
What the
weird
fuck?
is that all 3 were iron chained by the neck. And the chains were broken. On the back of their necks, carved with a knife, was largely written, "Free." I heard Mr. Barefoot yelling at the police. "They're truly free at last, breaking away from the yoke of life. All thanks to me." The police handcuffed him.
That would have
and
been
took him
you,
away.
kid.
When the police asked him why he killed the women, he answered like this. "Sir, what do you think freedom is? Only death is truly freedom, which has been desired by all humans." That's exactly what I gave them. Maybe foolish people think I am such a criminal or murderer, but I absolutely don't care about it, because I know what I did was the only way to help them find true happiness.
I don't even think Jeffrey Dahmer was that crazy. Ted Bundy was not that crazy. Motherfucking any famous murderer, I'm telling you, probably was not that crazy. What the fuck?
He kidnapped the women, bound them with iron chains, and cut the chains off by hammering them hard. The women were killed while he was doing so. Not surprisingly, he was sent to jail. However, after some time, I received a letter from him.
Are you-
This
Really? Really? They're allowing him to send letters. They're allowing him letter privileges. That's nasty.
is what the letter said. "I feel so sorry. I am locked up here and cannot kill you. Because I can't get out of here, I will send you my messenger, who will kill you on my behalf. I know this is the only way to set you free, little boy. Believe me, and you will find true happiness. When you finally meet my messenger, put yourself in his hands. He will end your life just in the blink of an eye, without pain. I can't wait to see you free, though I could only see it in a photograph. Till then, take care. After I read it all, I called the police right away.
Police!
Police! Help!
My father even hired a bodyguard for me.
Yeah.
2 days later, a man really broke into my house.
Oh my
He choked the bodyguard with
god.
an iron chain until he
What the
passed
fuck?
out.
No, this is too much. This is too much.
Then, cruelly hammered the bodyguard's neck. While he was completely absorbed in hammering, the police finally arrived and took him away. The bodyguard was terribly wounded. The criminal was identified to be Mr. Barefoot's friend. It was so unbelievably horrible that just a couple of days later, my family and I moved out right away.
Yeah, move. Oh my
But
god.
deep down, inside me, I'm still
my
awfully
God.
scared that he will send me a letter again.
Why do they allow letter privileges to murderers? He's obviously messaging a little boy. Even if he had the letter privileges, why not read the letter? Especially if he called the police and told them that he's been threatening him through the letter and said who it was. Like, why is he getting letter privileges? Why? Why? I'm done, okay? I'm done. Alright, y'all, but that's it for today's video. Okay, thank y'all for watching it. Hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to big thumbs up, subscribe for more. Also, turn on my post notifications that way you get notified once a week, boo, or more. Okay, I also have social media links down below. Okay.
Okay.
I love y'all so much. I'll see you on the next motherfucking video. Okay. Peace.